Tres, dos, uno.
What's up, everybody? This is Peeps from the famous YouTube channel. It's Peeps. You may have heard of me. I'm kind of an inspiration, kind of a big deal, really. This is my buddy Steven, and we're actually on his YouTube channel. He is known as a Chicken Sandwich.
What's up, guys? Welcome to the...
That was the least slick intro I've ever done.
I thought the last... Why does it tell me to... Is it making me use a controller? Oh, never mind.
I was about to say you're holding a controller. Anyways, today we're going to be playing a little Pocky, Rocky, and Becky. Becky is freaking adorable.
She is. But I have to go with my...
Your boy Rocky?
My boy Rocky.
He's a tanuki.
It's the eye of the tanuki. It's the...
thrill of one bite of traditional Japanese cuisine.
Yeah.
So, today we're going to be talking about something near and dear to our heart, as we usually do.
Yeah.
We're going to be talking about, the other day, the Legend of Zelda series celebrated its 30th anniversary.
I think we need to kind of... we're starting this awful theme of anniversary thing. Like, it's not a pattern yet, but...
Everything's having anniversaries all at once.
Everything's getting old.
Including us.
Alright. That reminds me, my birthday's next month. I'm expecting a great gift.
Cool. You're getting you're getting a case of Lupa.
Case of Lupa.
Um,
I'll take an entire case of Surge, though.
Yeah, okay. But yeah, so...
Oh, it's an Orochi. Wow. It's been a long time since I've played Pocky and Rocky.
Mm-hmm.
Like
this is like the updated re-release thing.
The updated re-release for the GBA, but I played it originally on Super Nintendo. Back in the day when we rented video games.
Yeah. I kind of miss those days. You remember, we have some fond memories of going to Blockbuster and just kind of looking, seeing what they had.
How about Super Video?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, Super Video is our local... It's our local, Oh, the right... You have to use the bumpers, not the triggers.
Oh. Well, I just wasted my super.
He's just backing up worriedly. But yeah.
Sweeping.
So, and you're fighting marshmallows.
Amazing.
So, The Legend of Zelda.
Those are boos.
It's 30 years old. And, yeah. It's one of the greatest game series of all time. One of the only game series that I like enough to have permanently etched on my body. I have a Zelda tattoo.
Which is surprising because you're like the hugest of Sonic fans.
I know. Well, it was a toss-up between getting a Sonic Team logo or a Triforce. And I'm still on the fence as to whether I want to get, for my next one, whether I want to get it's either going to be a Sonic Team logo, a Nights into Dreams, like a Knights silhouette, or possibly a Metroid Screw Attack emblem.
Of course, you've been fighting over that decision for like years.
Yeah. Well, it's not something you want to... The advice I had always heard was, wait 7 years to get any tattoo. And they're like, if you still want that tattoo in 7 years, you go for it. And I feel like that's pretty good advice. But
I only get 2 hits.
Apparently.
Oh, it's been so long since I've played this.
That stone fence just closed behind you.
Yeah.
Hawkman. Oh, Crow Tengu.
Wow.
What are you doing here? Do you think I'll let you pass? Ha! So, let's start with our first experience with Zelda.
Okay.
Ours are very, very different. My first Zelda game that I ever played was back whenever I was a wee tot and I got my first Game Boy. It was Game Boy Color. It had the purple clear shell. And I got it for my birthday. And it came with, jeez, what game did it come? Oh, it came with a copy of Game & Watch Gallery 2. Now, that didn't keep my attention for very long, so I started looking at other games to get. And the first game that I got was Pokemon, and that was the game that I got the system for. But then after that, my next one, because I had heard about it for so long, was Link's Awakening DX. I'm like, man, I've heard a lot about this Zelda game. And actually, whenever I got it, I wasn't super into it. Because I had never played an adventure game like that before. Most of my games that I played growing up were action games. And...
Damn right you'll let me through.
And so I played this game, and I beat the first couple dungeons, but then I kind of hit a wall, and I was like, whatever, I'll trade this in for another game. Fast forward a few more years, and I was like, you know what, I think I'll give that Zelda game another try. I bought a copy of it, and for whatever reason at that point, it clicked for me. And I became a fan ever since. What was your first game, Steven?
Okay, it is one of the games that is considered arguably one of the best games of all time. Link to the Past.
Mm-hmm. An excellent one.
Man, I remember this. Man, this game is kind of cheap. Continue. Yes.
Or you're bad.
Or pretty bad.
You haven't played it in 20 years.
At least I get to start the stage over, like the chapter over, and not
right. But yeah, I actually have never beaten A Link to the Past on Super Nintendo. I only played the Game Boy Advance port.
Well, if anybody's watched my first episode of my Let's Play for Twilight Princess, I touched on it a little bit that Link to the Past was like one of the first games that ever well, outside of like Sonic 3 had a save state. I didn't say that, but it's like pretty much like the first game like where I went in and I had to save where I saved my game. And
right, you're like, oh, I can pick this up later and keep playing.
Onion Man.
Onion Man. Actually, they might be pork buns.
Maybe.
Well,
man, this game, like, overall is...
Some pork dumplings sound really great.
Yeah. This game is, like, so full of culture.
Mm-hmm.
Where's Gaijin Guma when you need him to do, like, a culture shock on this?
And what do the little slips of paper do? The exorcism slips?
They upgrade my, firepower.
Ah.
Because I don't know what I was throwing last.
It was blue.
Blue and green.
But yeah, Link to the Past. Fantastic game. One of the best games of all time.
Oh. New.
Probably one of the only games I've never really gotten sick of playing.
Yeah.
You know, normally once you beat a game a few times, you're like, yeah, I'm kind of burned out on that, but Link to the Past, no, I can go through and I can play that every few years. You just pulled a Golden Axe error, my friend.
Well, I tried to use it on the last boss and it wouldn't let me use it.
Oh, really? That's weird.
Yeah.
Hey, you, it's not my fault. It was the ghost who freed me.
Oh, I got it. I have to hit the snake.
Oh. Okay, so that was our first experience with The Legend of Zelda. How about... Do you want to discuss this chronologically, or do you want to discuss this...
I'm throwing leaves.
Ah. Hey, at least you killed something with that one.
Yeah.
I guess let's... Do you want to just discuss our favorites?
Okay, so... The Legend of Zelda... again, I'm going to go back to... guys, go check out my Let's Play. Because, I'm going to go more in depth than I did on my... Well, I really can't go in more depth than what I did on my Let's Play, because it was... Because Man. There's no, startup. I got a key, though.
Perhaps that's the key.
Yeah, we get to start the chapter over with. You guys get to see me play this terrible, well, not terrible game, because Pocky and Rocky is an amazing game series. I swear, okay,
You're just out of practice, bro.
I think this game is harder than it was on the Super Nintendo. And like, I remember the sprites being better on the Super Nintendo for some reason.
You gotta realize this is like this has a lower resolution than the Super Nintendo.
I know, but like, the GBA was pretty good at emulating the Super Nintendo sprites, though.
Man, the GBA was really good altogether.
Yeah. The GBA was essentially a pocket Super Nintendo.
We had a lot of fun experiences with that. Even more, I think, than the DS. Man, because the DS, we never had games like Sonic Battle or... Man, we played a lot of Sonic Battle.
Yeah, I grinded the hell out of, like,
So you could get all of Emerald's parts or whatever?
Yeah.
As it moves?
Like, I kept trying... keep thinking those guys are going to be, like, one-hit kills.
So anyway, you were saying on your Let's Play.
On my Let's Play, I talked about my top, like I classify my Zelda, I classify my Zeldas like I classify all my most of my games, which this would actually be considered more in depth. Is that I talked about how, okay, my top 3 Zelda games of all time, Twilight Princess is on that list.
Really?
And the tie, there's a first place tie between Ocarina of Time and
Link to the Past.
And Link to the Past, because I think I've beaten them equally amount. But then I go but truly those are gameplay though. But my favorite overall is Majora's Mask, because I love the tone of it.
That's one of the ones I've never beaten. Despite owning it on multiple occasions. It's great, and I love playing it whenever I do play it, but I've just never had the drive to go all the way through. Which is a shame, because it's really short.
Well, kind of.
Unless you're doing all the side quests. Filling out the Bomber's Notebook and all that.
Well...
Have you ever 100%ed it?
A couple times.
I would say my favorite Zeldas are probably... My favorite 2D Zelda is probably Link's Awakening. I acknowledge that Link to the Past is probably better, but it's just very nostalgic for me, being my first Zelda. I've beaten it on Game Boy. I've beaten it on Game Boy Color. I just really love it. And then my other favorites, I'll go ahead and pick top 3 too. It's probably Ocarina of Time. I don't know. It's kind of a toss-up between Ocarina of Time and Skyward Sword, because Skyward Sword was an excellent game, and I felt like it didn't really get a fair shake. And it just changed up the formula just enough to really stay interesting.
See, okay, I have a lot of problems with Skyward Sword.
Right, but this is my favorite.
I know, but we can get into the discussion of that, because I probably also have many of the same qualms with Skyward Sword as most people do. So,
well, just real quick, I'm gonna cut you off real quick, and I'm just gonna say,
I'm gonna let you finish the list, and we'll get into the discussion.
My other favorite, it has to be Wind Waker, because that was the game that got me into 3D Zeldas. Like, before then, I only ever played the 2D ones, and oh, there's a sword thingy, and what's that? Whoa, there's a guy. Huh. But Wind Waker, to me, was just... Everything about Wind Waker was perfect, except for the length. It was a little short for me. But it was still a fantastic experience, and, you know, I own it on GameCube, I own it on Wii U, I even got the collector's edition that came with the Ganondorf statue, and it's just a great time, and I recommend everybody play it. getting attacked by or perhaps they're big hair metal fans. You know, they're getting ready to go to the Whitesnake concert.
I've met with David Coverdale, by the way.
Is that what Whitesnake is supposed to mean, or is it actual? Like, is that an innuendo I never picked up on?
I don't think so.
Okay. You better hurry up and kill this guy, or you'll be boned. You know, another game we need to play
What's that?
at some point is Decap Attack, starring Chuck D. Head. It's a really great, one of those weird. I think Vic Tokai made it.
Hey, I actually one-shotted this boss. I'm getting a little bit better. I think this is a different game than the original Pocky and Rocky.
Yeah.
Because I remember like playing as, if you played as Pocky, and you go through, Rocky is actually the first boss in the game. And I think I'd have to look up a Let's Play or something like that. Okay, continue on with Skyward Sword.
Go ahead.
Oh, I thought, are you done with your top 3 list?
Yeah, that's basically it. They're both.
Okay,
They're
all like Ocarina of Time, Skyward Sword, and Wind Waker.
And Link's Awakening.
And Link's
Like
Awakening.
it's kind of a toss-up because as much as I love Ocarina of Time, it's one of the games where it's like once I beat it, I didn't have that much of an urge to replay it.
I just do like everybody else and says this is an honorable mention.
Fine, okay. Skyward Sword can be an honorable mention.
Well, or whatever. Okay, so Skyward Sword. I like a lot of the aspects of Skyward Sword. I maintain that the biggest fault in the game is the control scheme, and how unfair the design is. Like they shouldn't have designed the game around the control scheme. About the Wii Motion Plus. Biggest folly of the game. I was talking to a friend of mine about that today, and it's just the control scheme it's what gets me. And like I love, okay, dungeon design is like, it's probably like some of the most interesting concepts for dungeons in a long time. Like I haven't beaten the game, okay, but what I've played, I love the dungeon design, and I love like the little themes. Like you're going to like the little mine with all the sand, like where you get the little gourd or whatever, the little fan,
the vacuum pump.
Yeah, that thing.
AKA the cheapest item in Smash Brothers history.
Well, I don't know about that.
Once somebody gets it, it's really hard to get away from them. It can be.
Yeah, I mean, it's what's known as a floodgate. Well, and what some card players may call a floodgate. So, like, it just enables so much.
See, I believe that the control scheme is one of its biggest boons, because it's interesting and it does take a while to get used to. But once you get into it, you can do some really cool stuff, like some of the interesting aspects you can do with the sword play.
Okay, so like I focused a lot around the game about
Wii Motion Plus.
Wii Motion Plus. Well, it's mostly they focused design and everything around it, and it's as much as they want to be like, okay, it's one-to-one stuff like that, but it's still not very responsive. There's so many times that I was sitting there, oh, I gotta hit her shirt.
Clearly. Where else would you hit her, Steven?
It's the first time I've ever seen, hey, your shirt is your weak point. So, there's a lot of design around it, right? But whenever I need to use a Skyward Strike, I'd go to, alright? He just goes, he'll just raise the sword up, but he won't go into the Skyward Strike thing like that. And I'm like, this game is so finicky. It's like, even whenever they demoed the game at E3, whenever they did that, they couldn't get the game to work. It's Shigeru Miyamoto sitting there trying to do it, and it's like, and then there's the point, like, okay, they're the enemies who will change their stance to block, right? And you have to hit them some way, right?
And the Liz Alphos.
So and they'll respawn the way you're holding the thing, right? Well, when you go to move,
goblins do it too.
When you go to move, you got to be careful about moving because you're going to end up striking if you like. I'm going to change poses or whatever.
Right.
And
that leaves you open to an attack.
Yeah, it'll go ting, and you're
knocked off balance.
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand that, but also that's something that I overcame with enough practice. And it's like, yes, a game should be intuitive to a certain degree, but at the same time, I don't know. It just worked for me. I mean, and it's completely subjective, so you know.
What was this one on? Inuyasha?
I was about to say. That mangy dog demon?
Sit, boy.
I'm not a dog.
I feel like I just found easy. Maybe I found easier mode.
I always feel like I miss out a lot on these games for not having grown up, you know, Japanese.
Oh, I lost my little heat seekers.
Because like there's so many things in this, like all of these creatures. I recognize some of them, but all of these creatures are Japanese mythology. Like there's a kappa, and you know.
Well, I don't know if I would call that kappa though.
Well, he sure looked like one. In the water?
Oh.
Or are we talking about the frog that was hopping? No. See him in the water there? Well, okay, now you can't.
So,
Coteen Way.
Okay, so me and my friend were having a discussion of the reason why the Wii, Twilight Princess worked on the Wii.
Mm-hmm.
Because the Wiimote was acted as a attack button and not like...
Right, it was a button, not like a second analog stick, so to speak.
Yeah, it wasn't a different control scheme altogether. It was acted as like you wave it, and that's why it works so well, because adding that was more of an afterthought and not a pure we have to work.
Right, because the quote real version of the game is the GameCube version.
Yeah, but it was they didn't try to placate that they didn't go, okay, we have a control scheme, we have to build a game around this. And for one, I'm not a big fan of the Wii Motion Plus anyway. I have to say I really kind of like what the original Wii Motion, which at that point it was just that wasn't really even Wii Motion at all. It was just sensing
the general direction and
orientation
of the remote.
Well, it wasn't even that. For that, it was acted as an A button. It was like a trigger, the not tachometers. What is it?
Accelerometer.
Accelerometers inside the. Are they throwing pickles at? That is a kappa.
See, I told you. They're throwing cucumbers at you. It's their favorite thing.
Okay, I have a feeling this fight's gonna be easy. I don't know who it...
Giant spider.
Man, that's imaginative. Of course that looked delicious.
So far, you've been breezing through this game.
Yeah. I mean, I'm kind of pro.
I'm kind of pro at this game I never played before.
Well, yeah.
Can you use your orbs now?
No, I can't. I've already I tried.
I want to know, is it because your leaves are fire aligned? Is that why it was so effective on the Ice Woman?
I don't know. Well, I don't know. It's I think there's...
Because you killed her in 8 seconds.
Well, it's also probably because boss difficulty is ramping up too. So, Skyward Sword. I like there's some really great ideas with the game, okay, but it's just like
It just doesn't personally appeal to you.
well, it does, and I need to finish it, but it's and I I just need to finish it.
Yeah.
But it's just kind of hard for me to get into because okay, the story's really good, dungeon design is excellent. It's just the control scheme is like it's one of those things that just it's an obstacle. It's not. And
See, I disagree because once you learn how to work with it, it's fantastic. Like that's absolutely my favorite game in the world for out of the Zelda series for archery. Like the bow and arrow is basically.
Oh,
my
okay.
main
So
weapon.
when it comes to swordplay, okay, I'm gonna admit that. When it comes to swordplay, that's where like it falters, and the game is mostly swordplay. But whenever it comes down to an aiming scheme, it's fine. I'm all about it. I'm like because that's
See, but I haven't had much trouble with the swordplay either.
well, it's because I go to fight moblins and no Bobikins, and they're like, oh, hit me between these two parts while I part my axe or whatever, right? And I go to strike it. I go to strike a different way. They instantly counter. Like seriously, there's no opening, and I end up like having to fight an enemy in a needless way because it's just should have stopped. And I just feel like it comes down to like I feel like I'm somewhat wasting energy trying to fight some of these enemies because
See, the other thing that I love about it too is that because it's they made the basic enemies that you have to do swordplay with, they made them more challenging, and at the same time, I want to know what those keys do. Do they open up?
they open up the area to the boss.
Oh.
Because I'll run into a dead end.
Oh, okay.
And I have to have the key for the doorway to be open. If you notice, like that one part where we were talking about the kappas, and I went back, I actually
Smart boy. Ha 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 ha! How about a drink? Okay, I'm thirsty.
I'll take. Now I'm hitting his pants. What do I have against clothing?
Well, I mean, you are naked. Not in real life, in the game. I mean, no, you have pants.
Ah.
Oh, he's
healing! Asshole.
No, but I love it because it made it was kind of like it's kind of like the first time you fight a Stalfos in Ocarina of Time, where it's like he's a mini boss, and then later he becomes a regular enemy because you're so much stronger and because you know exactly how to fight them, how to counter them. Like, you've seen people on YouTube, you can, if you know what to do, you can beat a Stalfos in like 2 seconds. But I love it because they, like with the Stalfos in Skyward Sword and stuff, it's more like, it's kind of an extension of this cool swordplay that you saw in Wind Waker and Twilight Princess with the counter system and everything. Because you could jump around and you could attack from different angles, and I don't know, I loved that. But we can just agree to disagree.
See they've actually taken that kind of aiming system from like what would be Skyward Sword and stuff like that, and like when they redid it on Twilight Princess HD.
Really?
I
haven't played it yet.
And you can aim like this right here, or you can use.
So it's kind of like the middleman between the GameCube and the Wii version.
Yeah.
With
but
graphics.
you can also use the right stick to aim as well.
So see, that's what I love. Did that say last chapter? I love options. One of my favorite games on the DS was Star Fox Command. Now literally my only problem with that game was that you had to use the stylus. And I realized that the point of the DS, for a lot of people, it was in that phase where everyone thought you had to use touchscreen for every game. But it's like, I would love to have the option, even if it's not as accurate, to be able to aim with the D-pad and play it like Star Fox 1. But no, you know, I had to use the touchpad for everything in every... There were no options.
This game just turned bullet hell on me.
I didn't see that animation before. Oh, now you got a little server... Oh, no you don't. Another game we need to play is freaking Aladdin.
Yeah.
For Genesis and SNES.
I'd go through Genesis because I'm actually far more familiar with that game than anything else.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of Aladdin, giant snake, which almost has like the exact same eyes for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna be disappointed if I beat this game.
Especially because we just spent like $6 on it.
Well, you know, in all truth. But...
I know it's not that much, but you know.
Whoa!
It's still frustrating.
Oh, this boss has phases.
Oh.
I'm not doing any damage to the candles.
It's frustrating. Imagine if you had spent $30 back in the day whenever this game first came out.
Well, it's also got a password system, and I think it's hard for a reason.
Mm-hmm. So once you get down, so it's kind of like a Hydra. Once you get down to probably the last head, you'll start doing candle damage. Oh, whoa, whoa. I wonder if Pocky or Becky has more hit points. This game always kind of made me think of the Goemon series. Uh-oh.
I can't move.
It's not over yet. Oh. I'm having Sonic Adventure flashbacks. Whoa, Ghost Snake. Oh, he looks cool now. Whoa.
Hit him in the mouth, hit him in the mouth. Oh, I thought for a second he was static on the screen like he was like, no. Did I just defeat him?
Looks like it to me. Now he looks like a creepypasta character. I'll never forget this.
No, that was my portal to the next world.
So what, did she seal the gate or whatever?
Yeah. Oh. I just beat Pocky and Rocky with Becky.
No, you beat it with Pocky. Gee, I wonder if they're palette swaps.
Seems like it.
And only one of them has weight. The other two are dead the whole time. This is a creepypasta, and we're living it.
We're living a creepypasta. Anyway, so, Twilight Princess HD. One of the things we can,
How about, what kind of bonus content does it have?
Oh, I'm glad you asked. It came with a Wolf Link amiibo.
Yes.
As I pantomime.
Have you seen that Amaterasu mod that someone did?
Oh, it's amazing. I saw that, but I was like, the Wolf Link amiibo is,
it's pretty sexy.
It is. I'm not going to lie that I probably kind of really bought the game just so I can have the Wolf Link amiibo, but I got a great game to go along with it.
Yep. I keep thinking about picking it up because that's the only way to get the Wolf Link. I was actually talking to a Nintendo rep the other day at a store I was at, and she was telling me, I was like, yeah, it looks like you're all out of Wolf Link amiibos. Oh. Up, down, right, left, right, down, up, select. You probably input that at the main menu. I bet it unlocks hard mode. Or Meta Knight mode.
Remember that from Kirby?
Yep.
Can you remember that?
Up, down, right, left, right, down, up, select. Okay. I mean, it's not like we can't just look it up.
Yeah, probably.
Nope. Put in butt. I don't see where you're going with this, Steve. Ask, and you shall receive. Okay. Up, down, left, right.
Was it left, right, or was it right,
Oh,
left?
try right, left. Right, left, left, right, down, up, select. Yeah, it turned pink. I love the color pink. Yeah, this must be hard mode. Play as Becky. She's cute.
So...
So, what does the Wolf Link amiibo do, I might ask?
Okay, so it unlocks a secret dungeon inside the game.
Excellent.
Somewhat to like the Trial of Ordeals. Except, you can only play as Wolf Link.
Interesting.
Imagine playing against a whole bunch of enemies that weren't designed to be fought with Wolf
Right.
Link.
Because normally you only ever fight those weird things with the shield face hand eyes.
Yeah, the Twilight
The
beasts.
Twilights, yeah. Oh, is this a sequel story? The evil ghost escaped again. Oh, that was the Orochi we fought.
Yeah.
She keeps going back and forth between purple and blue hair. Oh, there's Onion Son. Yeah, this must be hard mode.
Don't tell me this is hard mode in this game.
Kitty.
Oh, it's the freaking cat from like that inspired the
The Lucky Cat.
no, not the Lucky Cat. You know from Yokai Watch, the two-tailed cat. The
Oh,
red
yeah,
one.
yeah. I haven't watched any of Yokai Watch.
Well, I was interested in playing the game, but like
Yeah. I thought about picking it up. Oh. You're a veritable cornucopia of cards. Or, well, slips of paper.
you've activated my trap card. Yeah, I'm thinking hard mode because these cats weren't present in the first one.
They were not, because I would have noticed. I love cats.
Yeah, that's definitely one of my favorite animals. Oh.
I was over at Sloopy's the other day. I was sitting there playing with her cat, and he wasn't pink earlier, was he? He was red.
Yeah. He says he's serious this time. Oh, and he's attacks a little bit more, and I think he's got some more.
He's back, and he's pissed.
And he's got more defense too. Because he was doing like a hit was a half of a candle.
So this is more like the real version of the game.
So yeah, I'm gonna have a harder time. Unless Becky's hard mode.
So some other standout Zelda titles. I want to give special mention to a game that I felt was severely underrated.
The Oracle games?
No, everybody loves those. Although, I do want to say that they are some of my favorites they've ever done. No, the one I'm going to talk about is Link's Crossbow Training. AKA the reason that I bought the Nintendo Zapper whenever it came out.
Okay, so I mean the game was fun.
The game is fun. As a shooting gallery style game, which there's a ton of on the Nintendo Wii, but I think you'll agree with me, Steven, most of them are shit. I don't know why I said that so weird. Or shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
the fireball's more powerful.
But Link's crossbow training took that shooting gallery style game, like it's not dissimilar to Point Blank, and
okay, so fire is far more powerful than.
They dipped it in a thick coat of Zelda paint. And it was literally the only reason to buy the Zapper, because the Zapper was crap.
Yeah.
I own it. It makes you aim higher on the television than you think you are. And I've played all the games designed for the Zapper, like Umbrella Chronicles and that, and wasn't there a Virtual Cop or something for it? It was one of the Sega House of the Dead. Yeah, House of the Dead. And it's just not a good peripheral. It's cool looking.
Yeah.
But that's about all it's got going for it. Other than the fact that it came with Link's crossbow training, which was fun, and it had a cool. It was The Legend of Zelda, the third-person shooter. But yeah, we can talk about the Oracle games. However, if you I did not know that was possible.
Apparently, she does not like to take baths.
Maybe she wrenched her ankle whenever she fell in and couldn't swim her way out.
Like classic Japanese schoolgirl. Well, Shinto priestess.
Hey, is that a heart down at the bottom?
That's my health.
Oh.
The hardest 2 hits.
I mean, we're playing this on a real Game Boy. That was weird. I can't believe that the Game Boy had the foresight to include a virtual console menu.
A Wii U virtual console menu.
Yeah, talk about ahead of its time. It was such a great system.
I mean, we could talk about that in an entirely different...
For reals. We could talk about our various experiences with the Game Boy line. I mean, heck, we could fill an episode each, I think, with each iteration of the Nintendo handheld. And then I think probably a whole nother episode on non-Nintendo handhelds, which I feel like I have more experience with.
Yeah.
Because, like, I had a Game Gear growing up. I loved my PSP. I loved my PS Vita. PSP, though, largely was just it's just a portable PS1 for me. So, how about underrated Zelda games? Okay, well, you mentioned the Oracle games.
Well, hold on. I'm going to tell you by far I think the most underrated Zelda game of all time is...
Zelda 2?
No. Well,
that's my opinion.
There's that, but I'm going to have to say Wind Waker. Okay, we both realize it is a great game.
It's super fantastic.
Like, at
gorgeous.
At release, it was one of the most underrated Zelda games of all time.
Oh, it was. Remember, everyone was crapping on it.
They're like graphics. I'm like, shut up your graphics.
The graphics were great. That's the thing. And because they're heavily stylized graphics, they're still great. Yeah, hit him with the blast. I meant your R button. Yeah. It's not like you can save it for the boss or anything, so...
Yeah, but if I die in this one, I restart the level again. This game it does have a difficulty to it. It's not like one of them super hard like NES games.
Mm-hmm. Oh, this one looks cool. He's pink. I'm strong. I'll never lose.
Oh yeah, I'm on hard mode. Because beforehand he wasn't shooting 2 fireballs at a time.
He was a chump.
I wouldn't call him that either.
He was a chump, Steve. You say it like it is. But yeah, I remember specifically that stupid guy that we used to know, whose name I will leave out. Every time we would talk about, our playthrough of Wind Waker, you know, because I think we played through it nearly. Like, you played through it before me, but then I think you lent it to me. But we would go to school, and there would be a guy there. He'd be like, yeah, man. He's like, I don't know why you play that stupid Zelda game. It's because it's really good. He's like, man, San Andreas is so much better. I'm like, San Andreas is a great game, but you're comparing, like...
Apples to oranges.
No, you're comparing freaking apples to...
Pigs.
Yeah, apples to pigs.
Both are delicious together, by the way.
Yeah, okay. See, whenever I think pig, like a fruit that goes with pig, I always think pineapple.
Yeah, that works too.
Yeah.
But I was just like, they're both delicious together.
They're both delicious.
Well, okay.
And you don't...
Oh, wow.
You have to fight Oni now? I think that's what that is. Yeah, red Oni, blue Oni.
And they want to be like, hey, I'm going to rush at you. Save me, Inuyasha.
Sit, boy.
I don't know if I'm going to make it through this playthrough.
So,
because they're tossing increasingly more difficult enemies at me.
I'm gonna go ahead and segue into the Oracle games. The beauty of the Oracle games is that there is an Oracle game for both types of Zelda players. For example, I know Sandon had at least one of them. Did you have them at launch?
I did. I've never played an Oracle game actually.
Well, they're terrific.
I can't sweep him. I can't sweep him.
He doesn't seem... Oh, I was about to say, he doesn't seem to be doing anything, but then he rushed you.
Okay, so, like, I have this ability to sweep away enemies with my, thing. That's what Rocky was doing whenever he was sweeping his stuff backwards.
Mm-hmm. And there's a thwomp. Or a mattress.
I hope a comfortable mattress. See, like, I could just...
But... There was a Zelda game, and there was an Oracle game for every type of Zelda player. And the beauty of that was, if you were like me and you preferred your Zelda games a little more action-y, you could get Oracle of Seasons, which was more action-based. If you preferred a little more cerebral action, Oracle of Ages had tons of great puzzles. But then the idea is that they're meant to be played back-to-back. And, you know... I've actually never done that. I need to.
And you've never done the final quest, have you?
Nope. I need to pick that up in the eShop and play through them. Yeah. Actually, I have both of them now that I think about it. I just never got around to beating them. But I have beaten Oracle of Ages on Game Boy. But they're terrific games. Fun fact, Steven, they started out as remakes of Zelda 1.
Really?
Yep. That's why a lot of the dungeons have the same layout as Zelda 1 dungeons, and some of the bosses are from, like, you fight Manhandla, you fight, like, a bunch of bosses from Zelda 1. It's a terrific game. There's actually supposed to be a third game as well. Oracle of, oh man, what was it? Oracle of Secrets. They ended up working her in to the main game, but the main games.
Yeah.
Those were great. Zelda 2, I always feel like Zelda 2 is a really great game that I feel like just needs a good re-release. It's one of those games where it's like there's a lot of fun stuff and a lot of really interesting stuff that they do with it. But man, it's just like, especially, you know, if you save and quit the game, you start back at the beginning of the very game. You keep all your items and everything, but you have to traverse the entire world map, and that's very difficult. Because Death Mountain is actually a labyrinth in the game.
Like the Lost Woods?
Yeah, but like, imagine if the Lost Woods were actually, like, difficult and dangerous to get through.
Are you kidding me? Children turn into Skull Kids in there, and adults turn to Stolfos. That's dangerous.
Not really. I'd be a skeleton. I'd be a skelly man. Curse you, small screen size of Game Boy Advance. But yeah, that one's a great one. You can't talk about Zelda without talking about the original.
Yeah.
Admittedly, I have probably the least amount of experience with the original one.
Yeah.
Because it's so ball-bustingly hard at times.
I actually have more experience with Zelda 2 than Zelda 1.
Same here.
But I haven't beat either.
Yeah, I haven't either. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like Zelda 2 and Zelda 2 and Metroid 2 are both very similar in that they're both very influential for the future of their series, and they both desperately need a remake to be more playable.
Yeah. And
Metroid 2, I love Metroid 2. I have Metroid 2 on my Game Boy, and I play it every once in a while, but I've never gotten anywhere close to beating it because it doesn't have a freaking endgame map.
Yeah.
Other than that, I mean, it's a fantastic game. Let's see. Let's talk about your favorite and mine, Steven. The Zelda CDI games.
Okay, so the reason why I love the Zelda CDI games is that they're easily flammable. The console.
You could cut a pizza.
You could cut a pizza. Hold on, and not to mention, the console that it was on makes an excellent paperweight.
It does. It arguably can't be called a console because it's just kind of an interactive CD player.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna tell you I'm one of those guys that I think there's something that could be learned from the CDI games, which was like
leave Zelda games to Zelda developers.
No.
Actually, no, because Capcom did
the Oracle games.
The Oracle games, and those were fantastic. You gonna get some power-ups, bro?
Oh, those aren't lamps for power-ups. See how these are right here in the way? I'll go up here and get a key. Oh god, blue Oni.
I guess as a bit of an explanation, Zelda CDI games, I mean, they're infamous. So if you're listening to this, you've probably heard of them. But for a very brief summary, in the creation of the PlayStation by Sony, which was originally going to be the Nintendo PlayStation, blah, blah, blah. Long story short, Nintendo ended up licensing its characters to Philips to make games for its new console, the CDI.
Oh, that's neat.
That's a unique death animation. And Philips made these games not knowing how to make a good Mario or Zelda game. There were 3 Zelda games
at all.
There were 3 Zelda games. There were 2 Mario games, one of which never got finished.
Okay, so a little bit more explanation is that they were going to go with a disc-based system, which
an add-on, but not unlike the Sega CD or the Mega CD, depending on where you're from.
But they were going to do that, but then they backed out. But they'd already signed oh god, there's
more.
Oh no, they're in different places. They were going to
use your beam.
They were going to do. They had already signed a license agreement, and so they were required to let them do the CDI games. And so they created the Zelda games, The Faces of Evil, The Wand of Gamelon, and Zelda's Adventure. Okay, so here's where I actually think they could learn from. I think they could learn from the CDI games. Make a Legend of Zelda game starring Zelda.
Yeah, I'm absolutely in favor of that. Oh, neat.
Is that invincibility?
I don't know.
Don't know if I want to test it out.
How about this one for you? Steven.
Yeah.
Everything about the Zelda CDI games may have been awful, but at least it gave us some YouTube poop gems. My personal favorite of which is, if you press down and make me walk, I can do the duck walk. And it's like, no, you didn't call it crouch walking or any number of things that would have been more appropriate. No, it's
I love the cold.
a fully voiced Link, the first fully voiced Link outside of the cartoon, saying that he can do the duck walk.
I think it'd be better if they called it doing the Chuck Berry.
Doing the malto meal bag cereal strut. Do you remember those commercials?
Oh yeah, so like, you gotta just go down one.
Yeah, he's like, all the best savings are on the bottom row. And he's sitting there like duck walking along the cereal aisle.
This is gonna be difficult. However,
You can overcome.
I can overcome.
Especially with Infinite Continues.
Yeah. Well, alright.
Excuse me.
Zelda CDI. I mean, nobody ever says anything positive about them. And I'm like, there's clearly some positivity that can come out of those games, because like as I said, like they did something like Zelda's need to do it forever. Give Zelda her own game.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, oh, okay. There's the whole thing. Like everybody's like, oh, Link needs to. I read an article somewhere that says like they were going to tell Nintendo they needed to make Link gender neutral, and I'm like, why? Because I'm like, I mean, they already have a female hero of the series. They named the series after for her, and in Twilight Princess, it's proven that. And even like to some of the less extent, like in most of the games, she's always portrayed as a very strong female character. Mm-hmm. She's never really truly helpless. She just happens to be put into like some situations like where she's like almost anybody inside the series could be like captured in a
painting or a crystal or
something like that. And there are male characters that are done that way as well. And she's a leader. Okay.
Well, and then you got to think about how badass the Twilight Princess version of her is.
Oh yeah, and they actually made her a mini boss too, because like Ganon was possessing her.
Mm-hmm. Well, also don't forget, I love the. I mean, in Skyward Sword, she does everything you do before you go through each dungeon. Like she makes it through the dungeon before you do.
Yeah.
You know, and
that
may be helpful.
The doors unlocked either. That.
But no, I do think it would be interesting to have a female player character, whether or not it's Link or like a female, you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It would be an interesting change of pace, because that's one thing that people can accuse the Zelda series of, is relying too much on, because up until Skyward Sword kind of, all the 3D Zelda games were basically, well, no, Majora's Mask was not, but a lot of Zelda games are basically remakes of A Link to the Past. 8 dungeons, you collect everything, and you know what I'm saying? Well, that's like, Ocarina of Time, for example, literally started out as, let's make a 3D version of A Link to the Past.
Yeah. Well,
default weapon. I think you did more damage with that than you did with the fire.
That's because I got a good spam off of it first.
Now she's going to melt into pink ice. I mean pink water.
Yep.
I love pink lemonade. I want to know what these symbols mean, because they've been different every level.
Yeah.
But, so, the point is, we both love the Zelda series intensely.
Oh, very much so. And I mean, it's had its major ups.
Oh! Before we cut this off,
I want to well, we still got a little bit to go. I mean,
I thought we were shooting for about an hour.
Hour 30 minutes or so. I mean, and it's really when like, if we truly run out of stuff to say, like, there's no real reason to give ourselves a true deadline. Like, oh, we got to cut it down to like this right here. But I mean, ideally, I'd like to see if I can't get this all the way beat with Becky real quick before.
Okay. Well, since we're gonna keep going, I want to make special mention of the DS games.
Yes. Because
have you played the DS games?
Which one are you talking about specifically?
Phantom Hourglass and...
Actually, no. I have not. Because those were spin-offs of Wind Waker.
Yeah. It was Phantom Hourglass and Spirit Tracks.
Yeah.
And they're both freaking terrific. I love both of them.
Speaking of, like, Zelda actually being helpful, Phantom Hourglass.
Yeah, she was one of the player characters. You could use her to possess armor.
And that was cool.
That was extremely cool.
Okay, I feel like I need some explanation of some of the mechanics of this game. Okay, so I have, like, the brushing attack, which brushes away most enemies, right? And some projectiles. Okay? The hard mode here is it adds enemies, such as these blue Oni.
That you just spawned away.
That I can just spawn away. That I can't wave away with this, okay? But they're still susceptible to... Like, this fire is godlike. It deals a ton of damage. But the cats also have that fire attack that they have. That is not... I can't wave it away. Like, so... And I had the fire attack too. It was super strong. Oh, that's neat. I actually think some of those things are actually sprite replacements.
What do you mean?
Because those were the... Like, it was... Like the frogs.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Oni are replacing the frogs, maybe.
Oh, kind of like whenever you play the second quest in Mario.
Yeah.
Goombas get replaced with Buzzy Beetles or whatever. Like everything goes up one level, basically.
Okay, there's no noticeable difference in the fight with that guy.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like there may be more. Okay, so like there was those games, which I think one of them was a direct sequel to.
It was. Phantom Hourglass was literally. It took place right after, you know, at the end of Wind Waker, you sail off into the sunset with the pirates, Tetris pirates, and you're implied to be in an area that's out. I don't know if you consider it outside of the Great Sea, which the Great Sea is, you know, the whole world, but they imply that it's a different place or whatever, and a ghost pirate ship takes Tetra, if I'm remembering everything correctly, because it has been a while since I played it, but yeah, you have to. It was also, that was one of the first games that messed with what you expect out of a Zelda game, or at least in my experience, because like in the first dungeon, whenever you find your first item, like you find your item and you hold it over your head and it does the da-da-da-da, you know. Right afterwards, you meet a Captain Linebeck, who's the main supporting character, and he like shakes Link. He's like, "You've got to help me," blah blah, you know. And whenever Link turns back around and he finds another item and he holds it up, but it plays the jingle, but it's all like, and he's dizzy and like wobbling around, and it's like, I don't know. It's just such a fun game, and it plays, it's very top-down, it plays very much like a traditional Zelda game, not unlike A Link to the Past, but dipped in a nice coat of Wind Waker. And, you know, to me, outside of Skyward Sword, I feel like the Wind Waker Link has the most personality out of all of them.
Yeah, I think Twilight Princess had a lot of personality too.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, so when I first saw DS games, I didn't go to that. I immediately went to 3DS and went to Link Between Worlds,
That is a fantastic game.
which is probably arguably one of the best sequels.
Yeah, because they're all sequels.
Kind of.
Like technically speaking, series wise,
Yeah.
but it's a direct sequel to
Well,
A Link to the Past.
kind
It's
of.
not starring the same Link.
No, but it's presumed to be one of his ancestors.
Yeah. It also that video game has the distinction of being the only game ever to retcon my tattoo.
Yeah.
Because all of a sudden my tattoo went from, because it's all black, it went from being a Triforce tattoo to being
I can't wipe away the sperm.
a low rulian. Well, there's a joke there, but we'll leave it be. But yeah, it's because the low rule, which is the alternate, it doesn't have the Dark World in.
But it's basically the Dark World anyway.
It's basically the Dark World. To me, it's I don't know. I was gonna say a more interesting Dark World, but it's kind of not. It's got a different flavor, but I also don't like the fact that it's broken up into sections. Like it doesn't feel like one big overworld.
Well, it kind of is like connected, but you have like, but you can't traverse it normally.
Right.
Which actually, like even Hyrule, you couldn't even traverse normally.
Right. That's.
I mean, if you really think about it, one of the dungeons in the Low Rule was actually a dungeon in the Light World, the Desert Temple.
But the entrance was only in Low Rule.
Yeah,
right?
you had to get it in Low Rule, and the boss was in Low Rule though.
Yeah. It was kind of like, oh man, who was the boss of the Desert Temple in, or no, the Swamp Temple? No, it was the Desert Temple, because it was a Moldorm, wasn't it?
Yes, no, Moldorm was, it was the worms.
Yeah. That's, yeah.
I forget I have a screen crash.
But yeah, you actually fought that boss outside of the temple. But yeah, that was one of my... That was also, do you remember the...
Oh
you didn't
man,
get the key.
don't tell... Oh, that's lame.
Do you remember the day we went to go get Link Between Worlds?
Yeah, that was a real cool day.
And you were like, you told the lady at the counter, and this was a surprise to Steven, because I didn't tell him I was planning on doing this, but he was like, I need a copy of Link Between Worlds, please, and she was like, alright. And whenever she got done ringing him up, she was like, what can I get you? And I'm like, I need a copy. I need a 3DS XL with Link Between Worlds on it. And Steven's like, he gave me this, what? Look. And it was just, I don't know, it was really funny at the time.
The game... Where's the key at? Because this was like super linear.
Maybe it's hidden in an item?
Oh, I see the secondary path. Oh, I think. That'll help.
But Spirit Tracks, going back to that. it actually takes place in Hyrule after the Great Sea has receded, and you start out in like a grassland area, and you play as one of what is presumed to be one of Link's ancestors.
Well, the thing about that is, it's like most of the like
they're not necessarily like directly related.
Okay. One of the Zelda, like I watch a lot of Zelda theory videos, and one of the things that was said about the quality of the hero is it's not like a title, but it's attacking his pants again. Oh, he can't attack to the side.
Yeah, he can.
For sure, because he's not doing it.
He did it. He did it in the first game. Because it was a 3 fireballs to the side.
No, because he's not throwing fireballs.
Did I say fireballs?
It's
probably sake.
Yeah, it's the bowls of sake.
But yeah.
Well, on the Zelda theories, that okay, so there was a hero that emerged, the hero of the Flood, right?
Right.
But his destiny was denied to him because the king of Hyrule, i.e., the king of Red Lions, wouldn't assist him because he didn't believe, because he was expecting the hero of time to come back, like the Link,
yeah,
the exact
actual
Link,
yeah,
the exact Link from Ocarina of Time.
Mm-hmm.
So, and he didn't assist or anything like that, and he failed, and so the flood was done. Ganon was unsealed from the Sacred Realm. Because if you remember, the hero of time was disappeared from the timeline, because that was the adult timeline where he beat Ganon.
Mm-hmm.
So he didn't exist in that timeline anymore because he went back in time.
Yeah, I went back to being a kid.
Yeah. So the hero wasn't there, so whenever Ganon was unsealed, the hero didn't exist.
Right.
And
can you drink? I swear he was thrown to the side earlier. We'll have to consult the footage.
There we go. And so the hero of the flood was denied the ability to save Hyrule. And so Ganon was unsealed, and then that's how like all the criminal activity started happening on this high seas and everything like that. And the Bobokans and the Moblins and everything like that started going through, appearing on the islands and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
Because and one of the things though is, Ganondorf was put a little bit more depth in that game.
Wouldn't that have been awful to miss?
Anyways, Ganon was added a little bit of depth into the game because it was presumed, because like if you look at some of the dialogue he had, freaking bullet hell.
Your screen crash.
It was presumed that like he started talking, and there was a dialogue that kind of insisted what he did was to try and save his people, i.e. the Gerudo.
Right.
See if I can't do this well.
Now, as much as I love the Wind Waker, and as much as I love the Rudo people, I prefer
Rito?
the Rito. I prefer the Zora. Because they evolved from the Zora, right?
Yeah, well, it's presumed. Yeah, because
They said long ago they lived in the land or whatever.
the ocean and the reincarnation of what
Rudo?
the sage.
Rudo was the sage of the water.
I know, but like because all the the little guy with the violin and then what's her face with the harp, the ones you have to take through the dungeons.
Yes.
They were reincarnations of those sages.
Right.
Oh, to go through this again.
Oh, key.
So much damage. There's damage soaking.
To the top.
I'm just gonna get as far as I can, see if I can't set my lives. That was unfair placement of them blue Oni, by the way.
Well, they're meant to be an obstacle.
I know.
That crash killed everything in the level.
Looks like that. Get here without dying. That way I have a couple lives to fight this thing.
You! I suppose you've come to capture me again. Ha! It won't be the same this time. Chartreuse looks very good on him.
It seems like there's more shades and stuff a little more damage.
Yep.
Anyways, I've already taken a hit, so that gives me another hit to sort of try and survive this. What was I talking about? Oh,
we were talking about how cool I am.
well, the evolution of those sages. It went from like the Zora to the Rito, and then like the Kokiri turned into the little wood people. The little like wood nymphs.
Yeah, I can't remember the name.
Because the Great Deku Tree used his power to protect all the. Used his power to protect the children, and because he's the Great Deku Tree of this scrub from the first game.
Yeah, after you save, or after you
After
you beat the game.
of the Force Temple.
Yeah, you could see him spring up.
Well, yeah, and that's
You know what I mean?
yeah, and he's and the actual tree the island is actually the carcass of the old Great Deku Tree.
Oh, it's time to fight the spirit snake.
Yeah. I feel like I feel like this game should add an extra form. See, I don't know why he does this, because he takes damage now. Ah! That sucks. Uh-oh. That's a new move. Or at least he didn't do that move.
Yeah, get his mouth.
Get it in the mouth. Okay, you had a lot better odds with the fire, bud.
Run. Yeah, you got it. You got it, boyo.
Yep.
Rare.
Alright.
Peeking that mic. Now here comes Becky again. I mean Pocky.
Pocky and Rocky. So, what was I talking about? Those characters. So, and the Goron are all but gone. You see a couple in Wind Waker and everything like that. Because the Riso take over Death Mountain.
You actually see a lot of them in
Well, I'm talking
Phantom Hourglass.
in,
No, I know. I'm
Wind
just.
Waker.
But I'm saying that's a direct sequel, so it shows where they all went.
Yep. So I beat this game twice.
Neato.
Uh,
Now we unlock ultra hard mode.
And then it comes out just like I just spawn in on the next gameplay and just immediately die for no reason.
for no reason.
I mean, this game was difficult, but it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It definitely takes me back to my childhood of the game design of the past. Anyways, the Rito take over Death Mountain from the Zoras, and Valu, the deity of the mountain, which is kind of insisted to be a descendant of Volvagia of some sort. Wait a minute. I was listening to a Zelda theory that talked about that Valu is actually a different deity. He was more the good deity of the Death Mountain, and evil deity of the mountain, because he was sealed in the Fire Temple. And somebody somebody said the theory that all of the sages from Ocarina of Time, they had to die to become the sages, but it's never explicitly said that they die.
Right.
But it didn't. So,
well, that seems like a good.
So like, I love Zelda theories, and okay, so I kind of want to end this episode on a Zelda theory of my own.
Okay.
It's not one that I've actually heard talked about, but it's one that I've always had in the back of my mind ever since I played the game, Majora's Mask. Okay. And I'm gonna back this up with other said theories about Majora's Mask.
Okay.
The three great powers in, basically the three great existences in the Zelda universe, which mirror in different universes. And
here, let me play while you explain your theory. So we got something going in the background.
okay, so here's that. Would you like I'm gonna grab a beverage.
Oh, why? Thank you. What do you have to drink?
It is Surge.
Ah, it's been 20 years too long. Yes, I would love a Surge.
So here's a Surge for you, and I got one for myself.
Thank you.
If Coca-Cola is out there, we'd like to have the podcast sponsored by Surge.
Oh, speaking of Coca-Cola, you know I'm a Coke fan.
Coke fiend?
You know what?
You're a diet.
I am a Coke fiend.
You're a Coke Zero fiend?
I sleep with a. I have you've seen my little plushy Coke pillow. Yeah. It's shaped like an oversized can of Coke. They brought back Sprite Remix.
Oh.
And I have been drinking tons of that.
Well,
I mean, I've been trying to cut back on soda,
but you no longer have to drink that with Surge out there,
right?
Okay, so in Zelda theories, this is actually stated that there are three great powers, starting with Skyward Sword. The third one was born. There is the goddess Hylia. Okay. There is the demon Demise.
Okay.
And with Skyward Sword, which is the first game chronologically in the series, was the birth of the hero. Okay. The goddess Hylia was sacrificed herself to raise the Hylian people, from the ground up into
the clouds
on Skyloft. Okay. She sacrificed herself and was reborn as Zelda. Okay. Zelda is in every game is the incarnation of Hylia. That's why she is a sage in every game.
She is beautiful.
She's beautiful. She's very powerful. She also has that very charismatic. She embodies the Triforce of Wisdom. Okay. The birth of the hero was because there wasn't like I don't think there was there was a prophecy and stuff like that, and the goddess the goddess sword, which became the master sword with Fee in it. Bless you.
Thank you.
Bless you.
Thank you. How rude of me.
Had the goddess Fee in it. I mean, there was a prophecy to create the role of the hero, but it wasn't there until Demise was a great evil that was sealed on the sealing grounds, right? Because he was the sealed evil, like the gigantic toes he had to attack and everything like that. That was him in like a primitive form. It was a sealed form, which is what Garahim was trying to.
I almost sneezed again with a mouthful of surge all over your laptop / microphone.
Isn't there a kind of a difficulty?
Yeah, I'm also kind of not paying attention.
Because the theory is so interesting, right? So, there's the 3 roles there, and it is mirrored in almost every game and every universe of, like alternate universe for The Legend of Zelda. The only exception is I think Lorule didn't have a representation of those because there was the hero, there was the princess, and there kind of was the bad guy because what's his face, Yuga. Yuga was the representation of evil in this series.
Yes.
Because he was clearly inspired by the Gerudo people in his character design. So, so he is of that, but one of the things in Hyrule, the Sheikah, there is a form of the Sheikah, a offshoot of the Sheikah, that became the Interlopers, of which were discussed in Twilight Princess, the Interlopers, and they created the Fused Shadow.
Right.
Okay. One of the things, the Fused Shadow is a huge piece. Like the effects of the like you don't think about it, but like the areas where the Fused Shadow is, if you look into Ocarina of Time, the areas where you pick up the Fused Shadow are actually really affected in Ocarina of Time. Because where's the first Fused Shadow you pick up?
It's been too long since I played
what is always the first dungeon?
Forest Temple?
The tree.
Right.
Okay. That temple with the monkeys in it, with the big baboon that slaps his ass. It is kind of insisted that there are 2 trees there. Okay, and this is not the downfall timeline, but the child's timeline, right?
Right.
So those 2 trees are presumed to be the Great Deku Tree and the Scrub in the future. Okay, and the temple takes place. Well, the bigger tree is where you fight the big Deku Baba as the boss, where you get the first piece of the Fused Shadow.
Right.
The Deku Tree, the Great Deku Tree, was cursed, right? Guess what artifact was used to curse the tree? The Fused Shadow. Yes. The interlopers are also were banished to the realm of Twilight. So like all the Twilight are actually like descendants of the Sheikah. Okay. So I'm telling this really long story to get the Majora's Mask. There is Termina is kind of a mirror of
it's a
Hyrule.
dark reflection of Hyrule.
Kind of. There is no Triforce. There is a goddess. The goddess of time. Okay. It's presumed to be a version of Hylia. Okay. But she's the goddess of time because you see her prayed to many times in the game. She's passed away. She's dead, much like the goddess Hylia is, who sacrificed herself to preserve the realm in some way, shape, or form in the past. but her power lives on through many different artifacts, and like there are the protectors of the realm. There is no hero, so Link actually saving Majora's Mask. It's probably the first time that that Link has saved something that was not his destiny, because he was not destined to do it. He was pulled in there by happenstance by Skull Kid, which is okay. There's a bit of conflict of what realm he's actually from, because this Skull Kid most likely from Hyrule.
Yeah, well, it's implied that he's the same one that he met in the forest.
He's the exact same one because he talks about being friends and like playing music together in the Lost Woods. Okay. It's insistent that he finds the portal to Termina, goes across, right, and tries to make friends, and people don't like him, right?
Right.
The Happy Mask Salesman, who is a hunter of great treasures.
Right.
Which it needs to be explained, he's probably a great adventurer himself, able to traverse dungeons. Because Majora's Mask, you know the great Stone Tower Temple?
Yeah.
Majora's Mask was in that temple, locked
really?
away. He went in and got it. Okay. The interlopers are not, but the interlopers are in that realm. Because they talk about Majora's Mask being used for rituals, right?
Right.
Majora is actually a deity. Okay. And the mask is a way of an avatar, right? My theory is, okay, so the goddess, it's almost presumed, Skyward Sword actually did something for the series that kind of gave meaning to why the Ocarina of Time is so special.
Because it's blue.
Because it's blue. What was blue in Skyward Sword?
Well, Fee.
The Time Stones. It is presumed that the Ocarina of Time
Was carved out of one?
is carved out of the Time Stones, which is why it sounds different than the regular Ocarina in the game, because it's not just a regular Ocarina; it is a very special Ocarina. And it's also kind of weird whenever you see like the Ocarina in the game, like they do the little spin down thing. It's kind of shiny and not just like wood.
Yeah.
You know, because you presume like, oh, the Ocarina must be wood, but it's just blue. But Saria says it is different. Well, that time stone could have a link to the goddess of time, which allows the flow of time to change, right? And it's able to be used in both realms. Because they're presumably different dimensions. Okay? The Triforce has no power in there. You don't get the Master Sword. You use basically your own will and power to go through the game and pick up the magical artifacts that are inside the game, the masks. You know, those are the real power inside the game are the masks. And
well, they're powerful because of the interpersonal relationships.
well, yeah, and the powers that are bestowed upon the mask by the Ocarina of Time, when you heal the mask and you become the avatar of those people who have died. Because it's presumed that all the masks are, all of them. Well, the transformation masks are all
Remains.
remains of people, and that the butler from the Deku tribe.
It's his son.
It's his son, and you see his son at the end of the game when you beat the game. Okay. Well, you see him bowing down to this, like you go across and you see the little, like the kind of warped Deku tree,
and he's weeping at it.
And he's weeping at it, right? So, there's that. But my theory is Majora's Mask has no power in Hyrule, because you clearly see in Hyrule.
The Happy Mask Salesman?
No. Skull Kid, take it off, laugh, and everything like that. That's himself. Okay? He's the Skull Kid, just wearing a mask. But whenever but as soon as you see him in Termina, he's embodying the power of the mask. He's floating in the air. He's a little bit more devious and a little bit more possessed.
Being a dick.
Well, yeah, and he's more possessed, and he's actually using he's like, I'm going to use my power on you, right? But if he wanted to use his power on Link, he could. If he had the power in Hyrule, he could have used his power on Link when he stole Epona. Okay. So that's one theory, and to kind of like to get the theory a little bit more solid evidence, a lot of people will say you don't enter Termina until you go through the long hallway and everything like that as Deku Link, and you walk into the clock. Because I was like, well, because they do the real weird transition as you walk along, right? But there was also that weird transition when you fell down and everything like
and
that.
all the icons are falling by you and all that.
And that's Link transferring over, so that's where the power of Majora, because that's the power. Because I think in Termina, there's a lot more power spread out amongst the actual people. Like power is more normal for people to have, because there was the Ikana tribe, which actually I think was said to be part of the interlopers or whatever, or no, they were cursed by the interlopers through the hexing rituals using Majora's Mask.
Yeah.
And that's why they're the undead tribe, and you have so many like the re-deads and the mummies and whatnot.
Gibdos.
And the Gibdos. And that's my little personal theory, that I don't think artifacts from Termina have any power in Hyrule, because Majora's Mask is an avatar of a deity from that realm, right?
Right.
Whereas like the Ocarina of Time though is just a powerful artifact in itself because of what it's made out of, and it may have, and it could have created a link to the goddess of time in Termina. Thoughts on my personal theory that I've not heard anybody speak of like Majora's Mask not having any power in.
Well, it's kind of like, at the end of the game, whenever the Happy Mask salesman says, the power has left the mask, it is just a mask. Who's to say that doesn't take place in? Because I don't recall. He's in the clock. They're in the clock tower at that point, right?
No, at the end of the game, they're standing outside of Clock Town.
Oh, okay. I couldn't remember.
Well, okay, so, on that, there's a lot of people wondering who the fierce deity is. Okay?
Right.
And a lot of people says that's the hero soul for the world, right? But the theory is that the fierce deity mask is actually the embodiment of the will of all the people in Termina. That's why it's so powerful. Kind of like a sub-theme of how powerful faith is, like the concept of faith, but most people believe faith, there's a lot of people who just believe faith is like an all-powerful force within the inside the human soul, much like love, which a lot of people might parallel love and faith as the same thing. It's just the faith, because at this point, when you're fighting Majora's Mask, when you would have the fierce deity, the moon is crashing. All the denial that everybody had in their heart that the world is ending.
You're a living spirit bomb.
Yes, you are a living spirit bomb, and that's why you're so powerful.
Interesting. It's kind of like, yeah, that's interesting. Have you ever read any of the Zelda mangas?
No, I have not.
I have the box set of the lot. The Majora's Mask one is notable in that it's actually, and they're non-canon, but it is an interesting interpretation because you actually see Majora. They show what the artist interpreted Majora to look like, and it's like a giant oxen beast type thing, not dissimilar to
Goat.
Yeah, Goat. Yeah, right. The bull boss. Yeah. From is that a Canna Valley or is that Great Bay? No, Great Bay was.
No, that was a Snowhead Temple.
Snowhead. Oh, okay, yeah. Because Gyorg is or Georg. Gyorg is Great Bay, and Ikana Temple is.
It's the mold worms.
Twin mold.
Twin mold. Which is a combination of Twin Rova and mold worm. Mm-hmm. That's how I viewed it.
Yeah.
bring about full circle, we were talking about Majora's Mask, and like to me, Majora's Mask has by far like the most room for theory crafting, I think.
Well, it's the least explicit one out of all of them. Most of them you get a nice little bow tied on at the end.
But like, okay, so like, there's a lot to say. Like, okay, so like everybody knows, like most people have an idea of the Link is dead theory,
right?
For Majora's Mask. A lot of people have, like, I think Shigeru Miyamoto or Eiji Aonuma came out and said like this theory isn't true, but it's interesting. Like they're kind of they're like we're glad you like thinking about the game, you know.
Mm-hmm. But that's not the case.
It's not the case.
And then it simultaneously amuses and infuriates me whenever people are like, no, the creator doesn't know.
Well, okay, so...
because things, and I've argued different stuff, things can grow to be bigger than what the creator originally envisioned. Like, I remember somebody I was talking to took exception to whenever I said that the best thing that ever happened to Star Wars was that George Lucas is no longer involved in it.
Okay, so like I was gonna bring up like it no longer belongs to creator. Is the old expanded universe of Star Wars,
right?
And matter of fact, even like close to Star Trek, even had like an expanded universe.
Yeah, but I love the novels, dude.
Like IQ.
Yeah, IQ is one of my favorite. Q for anyone who wants to look that up. I don't remember the author's name, but
there's definitely a lot of best way to put it is but there's not any like real because you can't say that because there's not like theories and stuff like that. If there was actually like published material, like the published material, like if there was darn it. Well, I say if there was somebody writing books. Like you said the manga and everything like that, but
yeah.
like, but if there was like books and stuff like that, or that explicitly said stuff like, oh, the Link is dead theory and stuff like that, and may have some validity or something like that, maybe that they could probably say something along the lines. But that's whenever like, then they may have some claims like it's beyond what the creator said, you know. But the thing about it is one thing we need to take from it is like the Zelda universes weren't really created until somebody wanted to say, hey, here's the timeline, and then they actually like found things to make things fit, and then they start piecing stories together. I mean, that's probably the like where it left. Like that realm of it became more than the creator's envisioned because somebody took and somebody went and fleshed this out, right? It wasn't Shigeru Miyamoto or Eiji Aonuma or anybody really at Nintendo. It was Dark Horse who produced the. I think it was Dark Horse who produced the
comic Shadows of the Empire and
well, it was
originally Marvel produced all the Star Wars comics.
No, I'm talking about Legend of Zelda.
Oh, I think. It's Viz.
Viz?
Viz has all the mangas.
No, I'm talking about the Hyrule Historia.
Oh. Yeah, Dark Horse produced that.
So, like, they may have gotten some feedback from, like, Eiji Aonuma and Shigeru Miyamoto, and, because those were the guys behind, behind the Legend of Zelda series and the story development. I mean, Shigeru Miyamoto created it, but like whenever Eiji Aonuma took over in Ocarina of Time, he was really the one behind the story creation and you know.
Yeah.
So like, I mean, I'm pretty sure they got some word on like that, but there was a lot of details like the events that happened between the games that kind of fleshed out why the games branch off in the different paths and stuff like that, and why Ocarina of Time is probably the most important game in the storyline because it split off in
3 parts.
Yeah, and it created the like why is Hyrule so different in these 3 sections? Because You just cheese that one.
I did cheese that one, but I'm tired of dying.
Yeah. So, and that's the only evidence of it becoming bigger than the creator's vision. Is those is the Hyrule Historia fleshed out a lot of stuff, and even still,
well, and I think Dark Horse just published it. I don't think they necessarily made it.
Well, I think they might have published it, but the thing about it is I don't think
You'd have to look it up. Who has the actual writing credit for it?
Go ahead and keep them locked, but I don't want to Hyrule Historia.
I am talking right now. What the? Oh, it explodes. So how are all you lovely people doing out there today? Me? I'm doing pretty good. It's kind of rainy weather here right now, but that's one of my favorites, so I'm okay with that. I'm playing this Pocky and Rocky and Becky. Oh, Molly came to visit. She is my biggest fan, and she basically harasses me from the moment I get here till the moment I leave. But I'm okay with it. I love animals. Apparently he's having trouble finding it. It's around, I'm sure.
Hyrule Historia. Find us some writing credits for the Hyrule Historia. I have it right here. It's a nice book too.
It is.
All they had was like editors. Because this was produced for the 25th edition of
25th anniversary, you mean?
Yeah. Okay, it's Shigeru, but it has something in this.
Well, he just did the foreword, I think, right?
Yeah.
Well, anyways, regardless, the fact of the matter is that we all love Zelda. What? Oh, you can turn screen smoothing on and off. Huh.
Well, okay, The Legend of Zelda. There's a lot of... Eiji Numa did have some writing in this, I think. And, okay, so, like, if you ever have the opportunity to pick up a Hyrule Historia,
Do it.
do it. It's got beautiful art you'll never see anywhere else. Like concept art for
Everything.
characters, the imprisoned demise. Like it goes through the games, like not necessarily in chronological order, but it goes through and it'll tell the entire story of a game from beginning to end in far more detail than.
Is that
That's
your
probably my
phone
phone.
or mine?
It was mine.
Ah.
So, which definitely, and like it's there's a lot of information in this, and you can, and this is like where most of the like you can go through here and you can find like the origin of a lot of
The
like,
Ancient Cistern boss is probably my favorite Zelda boss.
like I didn't get to this.
Ah, it's such a cool fight.
But I mean, this is beautiful. There's a lot of stuff in here,
Mhm.
and for like, so I think it actually was developed. Like now that I looked at the book
By
here,
the Zelda team.
like yeah, and there's like a little Skyward Sword comic at the end of the book in which you read backwards. It's part of the Skyward Sword, I think. But like, there's definitely like some cool designs in here.
Mm-hmm. The person who draws this is very talented. She's I think she's the same one who does all the other ones.
Manga by Akira Himikawa.
Yeah, that's it. So that's not a her.
Yeah,
He kind of looks like you.
kind of. Of course, I look like a lot of people. I don't know how many times I've ran into
Steven
people.
has that generic anime best friend kind of vibe. He's got glasses and dark brown hair and a propensity for sandwiches.
Yeah, food mostly. So Eiji Nimu does the wrap up of the book, and it actually has his history on there, and it says Upgrade of Time was his first one. He was game system director for the game.
Mm-hmm.
But there's just so much here.
I'm still mad that I got rid of my Zelda collection for GameCube,
Yeah,
because that's still one of the harder to find games.
and I mean we could see. There is one fact. I don't know if I've touched on it in any of the games or any of the podcasts or videos that I've done, but a lot of people don't realize. Okay, there have been many different Links. There have been many different Zeldas.
And only one Ganon.
And only one Ganondorf and Ganon. It's all the same person in a different timeline. He is the only person to experience all three timelines.
Interesting.
Because he is the Ganondorf from Ocarina of Time, because that's where he was founded. He's the whenever he's the Ganondorf that's executed in Twilight Princess is the Ganondorf that's from is the same Ganondorf from that.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the sages at that time, because you see the sages trying to do like that, are representations of the, because the sages haven't been awakened from Ocarina of Time, but they're still sages.
Mm-hmm.
So you see like the disembodied figure, and they even have the emblem on their belts of their temples.
Mm-hmm.
So, and we know that like most of the sages, once they're in the Sacred Realm from Ocarina of Time, they don't have they have to, if they appear in Hyrule, they appear in a different form. Like Rauru appears to Link as Kabora Kabora.
Right.
So, but they have to have an avatar of sorts.
Right.
And we see that like the sages appear in Twilight Princess to slay them, and they have like the disembodied figure, so they don't have like a real form in the real world because they're all in the sacred realm.
Right.
Then there's he's sealed away by Link in the adult timeline.
Mm-hmm.
Stabbed him through the face, and he was sealed in like that way, and the sages sealed him. He broke free, and that's the same Ganondorf and Wind Waker. And so that's a neat little fact, I think, to kind of end the podcast on.
Yep.
Nearly 2 hours later.
I know.
You know, and I don't mind it because we have a great time while we do these podcasts.
Right.
And I certainly hope that the people watching enjoy it as well. You know, that...
Or listening. Put us on while you go for a run.
For a run.
Or a jog.
Cooking your dinner.
Painting a fence. Practicing swordplay.
It'd be kind of fitting for this one, kind of.
Yeah.
Getting down your Hylian sword skills.
Mm-hmm. Or just sitting on the toilet.
Hold on. Not for 2 hours.
Well,
Put us on.
Our dulcet tones are.
Hold on. Put us on for that special moment with that special someone when you're both getting into the mood to play some Zelda. So, I definitely think this has been a very good episode. Played a little bit of Pocky and Rocky with Becky.
Mm-hmm.
I'd never really beaten a Pocky and Rocky game. You know, that was kind of a first.
Yep.
An enjoyable but kind of challenging experience because that was definitely from the era of, you know, where games were made difficult. I mean, it even had a password system for all the stages. So, I guess, well, there was something I did forget to say at the beginning of this podcast. Welcome to the Kick Awesome podcast. Anyways.
Well, that's what you get for having me be responsible for talking at the beginning.
Well, yeah, I think I'll let you anchor this one a little bit. I think it was, I really think it was successful.
I do too. Another one in the bag.
Another one in the bag. Next
Another
week, I
one
suppose?
in the bag. Oh, now I'm playing. I just kind of clicked on whatever you had on your main menu.
Yeah, I haven't actually played this myself.
Oh, it's a ton of fun. And that's another great game from Sega featuring tons of rings.
Yeah. Or halos, as they're called in this one.
Is that Sonic's secret? Is he actually just an angel killing it?
Could be.
You never know.
I think that's a theory video for another day. All right, guys.
Torture attack.
Yeah, those are always really cool.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys. This has been the Kick Awesome podcast. Remember, if you've enjoyed the podcast, give this a like. If you've listened all the way through, good on you.
Yep.
You have.
Be sure and give us a share.
Share.
You know you've got a Twitter follower who would just love to hear from us.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I like to think we're somewhat entertaining.
I would agree with that assessment.
I also think that we do provide some insight. But for another day, we would probably have to talk about some other things. Maybe
if you have a subject you would like to hear us talk about, leave a message in the comments below or hit us up on Twitter. My handle is @PJRandall.
And it's a chicken sandwich from me, of course. And you guys have a great day. Enjoy the rest of your weekend or work week or whatever you're doing for the next couple days.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll see you guys in the next podcast.
Peace off.